What is up, team? Welcome back to the Red Storm Rap Reaction Podcast. I'm Pat Kane, flying solo tonight. Shout out to the Latshaw brothers for holding down the fort in my absence the other night, and shout out to St. John's for now being 2-0 and alone atop the Big East standings. A 72-70 buzzer-beating win by Zuby Ejiofor, perhaps making up for the end of the Baylor game that many St. John's fans left heartbroken early in the season. Nevertheless, a good feeling to be 2-0. Not an easy win, not an easy watch, but God damn it, if you can't be happy after going in on the road and beating a Providence team that's not an NCAA tournament team to this point, and without perhaps their best player, even if he's not fully healthy in Hopkins. But they were hot early. The crowd got into it. This was St. John's first road test, and you walk out with a win. It's a great opportunity to learn some lessons. Obviously, St. John's needs to do a better job of putting together a full 40 minutes, both offensively and defensively. Uh, I continue to suggest, and many fans are often pointing to the same thing. But again, you see these second half, so it's hard to necessarily disagree with the coach. But those first half lineup rotations do leave a lot to be desired, or leave room to wonder exactly what's going on. And like I said, the second half runs that we've gone on, and the dominance, for the most part, could be credited to the fact that our guys are fresher in the second half. So that has to be at least part of the discussion. Still, playing Prey and Vince extended minutes together. Glover getting some minutes in the first half. Just some shuffling of the lineups that were combinations you don't see often. I think we had Scott, Prey, and Vince all on the court together for a few minutes in the first half. And it just makes you wonder, are we still experimenting? Are we still not sure what our best lineups are? Are we trying to keep guys fresh? Is this, mental gymnastics stuff? I don't know. But I hope that we continue to see a little bit more of a tightening of the screws in terms of the rotation as we get further and further along in the Big East season. Of course, we have a Delaware speed bump, if you want to call that, before our road trip to Creighton on New Year's Eve. And we got to make sure we're up for that game. Probably going to be a quiet Carnesec Arena game, a trap game, if you will. And St. John's cannot afford to lose that one. But let's talk about the good stuff. St. John's stormed back in the second half, and they did it on the defensive end. Gave up only 28 second half points, and I don't think it was much of an approach change. St. John's was aggressive defense. They were pressuring the ball out past the 3-point line, making it tough for Providence to get into their sets. And Providence really took advantage of the first half. Dribble drives, backdoor cuts, driving kicks. And really put the defense to shame in the first half. And in the second half, guys stepped up, did a better job keeping their guy in front of them, did a better job clearing it off the glass. And of course, a little bit of just Providence coming back down to earth. And home teams are going to get hot, and they're going to shoot well. And you're going to have to fight through those lulls on the offensive end. In the first half, we saw, I think, 11 straight misses by St. John's. And you couple that with some makes by Providence, and things can look a little bit worse than in actuality that they are. But nevertheless, St. John's did a lot to put themselves in that position, taking some poor shots, not being quick to loose balls. I think the home stretch of this game, some offensive rebounds, some loose balls, some steals went our way. And those are 50-50 balls that haven't already always been in our going in our direction this season, especially thinking of the Baylor and the Georgia game, the games you lost. And if tonight they didn't go in our direction, then we might not be coming out with a win. The obvious bad is the 11 for 26 from the free throw line as a team. The majority of those shot by both Zuby and RJ, who were both just struggling from the free throw line. I think Zuby was 5 for 11 and RJ was 6 for 11, 5 for somewhere around there. We'll bring the box score up in a little minute. I'm missing my graphics guy tonight, Cole, so I'm trying my best here. But, that doesn't help you. And to overcome that, I think, says a lot. Obviously, you hope that you don't have to overcome such a devastating percentage from the line, especially when you're working so hard to get those free throws off offensive rebounds and fighting to get to the boards and driving it hard to the paint. You got to take advantage. And I think both those guys are better than what they showed tonight, but I don't think they're 80% guys either. So they're going to be there a lot. And we're going to have to make sure that or do our best, hope, cross our fingers, whatever you can do in practice. And, guys get upset with teams for missing free throws. And aside from shooting more free throws in practice, what more can you really do? And it's going to come down to doing it in the game. And that changes a lot between alone in the gym and then with a bunch of screaming fans from Providence who are enjoying their Friday night out on town, making it a nightmare for you at the line. So it's not as easy as just saying get better at it. Although I'm sure they're going to spend plenty of time at it, and hopefully it continues to get a little bit better to the point where it's not a hindrance. Um, Zuby, I mean, good for that guy. Does a guy ever deserve that more than Zuby did, especially with the Baylor situation and him missing that free throw and what ensued there, and just a role model for what we want to see St. John's players develop into. Just hard work, putting the time. They didn't get handed the starting spot right away. They worked hard. They accepted the role, and then next year they flourish. And he is becoming closer and closer to one of, if he's not already, the top two or three big men in the Big East in terms of the total package when you take into his defensive contributions. And man, even that shot by Bensley Joseph, that 3-point shot that tied it late, and talk about just a total St. John's moment there. When that shot went up, I didn't even have to think for a second. I knew it was going in. And Zuby and Smith got switched off there. And Bensley's thought process, although, Bensley is a guy who I think really wants that big shot. I think he was also thinking, if I miss this, we've got Zuby out here when he got Smith down low. We got a good chance for an offense rebound. He put it up. Zuby did a great job contesting it, and it just went in. And there's plenty of instances where, guys don't even get that shot off because Zuby's so good switching off on pretty much 1 through 5. Of course, he's not going to be perfect against those small guards, but nobody is, and he's become an almost elite interior defender as well, blocking shots and altering shots. And then the defensive rebounding is continuing to get better, and the offensive rebounding is as good as it can possibly be. And we saw it exactly come into play on that last possession tonight. And of course, the debate is always there: does the coach call a timeout or not? And we right now have the benefit to see what happened. So it's not as easy as just saying, because this happened, it was the right call. I don't think there's always a right decision. I think it's hit or miss. Obviously, it comes down to guys making plays. I didn't hate the fact that he didn't call timeout. His thought process was probably you call timeout, you allow the defense to get set up, allow the defense to sub the guys that went out there for a defensive possession, and you trust your guys to go get a decent look. Smith had the ball in his hands, got not a great look at the basket, but because he dragged the big man outside on the switch, we had Zuby inside on a mismatch for the offensive board, similar to what Providence would have had on the time down there previously when Bensley hit his shot. And Smith hit that shot 30 seconds prior to give us that 3-point lead on a big time play. So I liked it. I mean, obviously, I loved it because Zuby got the offensive rebound and it went in. And I think Smith is a guy who can get in and make plays either for his health or teammates in situations like that, as we saw the play before. But 2-0 is a great start, guys. And not everything's going to be perfect. There's always two teams playing out there. Providence at home, Providence playing with a lot of fire. Joseph was a guy we recruited, seemingly like brought him in for a visit and then just didn't offer him a scholarship. So I'm sure he had a little bit something to prove. Pierre is a New York City kid, and Providence. There was rumblings of St. John's looking after Hopkins this summer in the transfer portal. So perhaps there's some bad blood and some tension there overall. It's going to be a bloodbath, and it's going to be a war in all these Big East games. Providence really got to take advantage of their home opportunities, and tonight, they came out with a lot of energy, and St. John's was a little bit flat-footed, but they battled back and they got it done. Smith had a really good game. I'll bring up the box score now. I think he only had 4 rebounds and 4 assists, but did so much more than that. Just changes the game with his speed and his athleticism, able to apply some ball pressure out on the perimeter that our other guards can't, especially tonight. Simeon and Scott combined, I believe they shot 2 for 18. I'll have to double check that for sure, but both of them were ice cold. And 2 of our guys we want to look at as our shooters, even if the percentages don't suggest it right now with Scott. Um, but those guys having that shooting night combined with our overall free throw shooting, still find a way to get it done on the road, and that's just a testament to the overall talent we have. Able to win games when you don't have your best game out there. Yeah, Scott was 1 for 7, and Wilcher was 1 for 10. So combined 2 for 17. You know, not going to be too many nights where those guys shoot that poorly. And then the other guys who had pretty good nights. Zuby 7 for 14, by no means a fantastic shooting night for him. Lewis 5 for 13, not great. Richmond 5 for 11, not fantastic. Smith 8 for 15, good. Solid by those guys, but by no means like earth shattering. So all that considered, with the free throw shooting, we killed them on the offensive boards tonight, 18-7 on the offensive glass. We shot, I think, 28 more shots overall than Providence. So we did a great job on those in between things, the toughness things, the intangible things that are gonna get wins in a road environment when your shots aren't falling and the other team comes out with a little bit of urgency and perhaps some luck when shots are falling early. But anyway, good to see. The numbers: Zuby 19-10. What a start to the season by Zuby. Something like 15-8. He's going to be averaging now, blocking shots all over the boards. Sets monster screens. Can play for 40 minutes. Just fantastic. I would love to see more minutes with him and Pray together. We're kind of seeing the same thing we saw last year when it was Zuby and Traore. They'd come in together as like a package deal. We'd never see one of them play with Joel, but we'd always see those two coming together. We're seeing that similarly this year with now Prey and Vince. And Vince, the guy works hard. He plays with energy. He means well. He talks out there, but he is struggling defensively. Switches, getting caught on the perimeter, not protecting the rim as effectively as you'd hope for a guy, given the space he's trying to utilize that length with. And I think when he's in there, we see some easy baskets getting let up pretty often. And I'd like to see some minutes with just Prey at that 5 with some shooters and some space around him, because Prey does some great things defensively. He got caught on a switch tonight. He missed those. Excuse me. He missed those 2 free throws in the second half tonight after that, you know, seemed like 30 seconds loose ball corral that was never quite certain where it was going to end up, but he did get it. And I just am continue to be impressed by him. Let's not forget a big shot by Jaden Glover in that second half, a 3-point shot to quickly get the lead back down to 3 or to 5 after Providence had just made a basket. A big shot when St. John's was struggling to make 3-point shots, and that kind of relaxed them and didn't let Providence push the lead back up in that second half while St. John's was trying to get over that hump. So good quality minutes there by Jaden. And then, I said Aaron Scott didn't shoot well, but he did very nice things defensively. Had a couple big loose ball plays. He got called for a bogus loose ball rebounding foul, and what could have been a big time turnaround for St. John's. You want to talk about some situations that could have gone a few different directions. The flagrant foul when St. John's goes up 5, and all of um, a sudden, we miss the free throw. They get the 2-point shot. They come down and make 2, and then I believe maybe that was after Zuby's jump ball missed layup situation. There were just a few different times where St. John's could have really, it seemed, put a stranglehold on this game and failed to do so. But needless to say, St. John's gets a hard fought, an earned a win on the road against the Providence team, who will beat some good teams at home this season, and already have beat BYU at home. So hopefully they continue to get better so that win is a quad 2 win, or perhaps can climb up to, I don't know how far it'd have to go up to be a quad 1, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. If they won 3 or 4 games, they can jump up into the top 75. But anyway, guys, a little bit under the weather here. Appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate Cole and Sean doing what they did the other night for the DePaul game. Please subscribe. Please rate. Please listen. Please review. Give us all you got. For Anthony Mason Jr., this has been Pat Kane, the Red Storm Rap Reaction Podcast. Peace.